All right, folks, on the docket tonight, the next live trial on Court TV, and it involves this woman that you're watching in the video getting out of the back of the deputy's vehicle. She's the one wearing orange. Her name is Michelle Boat, and this is her walking into court for one of her hearings, and she's been charged with first-degree murder in Iowa. So, let me give you a little more of the background of this case so you have a little bit of idea of what the allegations are. And we got all this information from an affidavit that was filed by prosecutors in this case, by law enforcement. And in that affidavit, it says that Michelle Boat's estranged husband was seeing a woman named Tracy Mondabough. Now, surveillance video shows Michelle Boat, the woman who's wearing orange, in her vehicle following Tracy's car at about 8:10 at night. Then at 8:21 that same night, police are called regarding an ongoing confrontation where someone is seen confronting someone else in their car. Okay? It's loud enough that people are noticing this. One of the witnesses hears the person who is confronting the woman in the car say, "He don't belong to you." Significant piece of evidence. Then when police do respond, they find that Tracy has been stabbed to death, still in her seatbelt in the front seat of her car. A witness reported seeing a Cadillac drive away from the scene. So, police end up at Michelle Boat's home where they saw a Cadillac and they saw some blood on the door. They, of course, went inside the home, saw Michelle Boat. Inside the home, they found some rubber gloves that had some blood on them that was in the toilet tank. They also found some clothes that were in the washer. And Michelle Boat, when she answered the door, was wearing a robe because she was taking a shower. So that's what we have in the affidavit. That's what they used as a basis to arrest her and originally charge her. That's a little bit of the backstory. So how do you defend someone with this set of alleged facts? Joining us in Des Moines, Iowa tonight, criminal defense attorney Christine Branstad. Christine, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, I went through some, and again, these are alleged facts that the prosecution will bring in with their witnesses and police and investigators and everyone else. Your initial reaction to hearing that set of facts, does that sound like it's a tough case to defend, or is this one where you're like, hey, I think there's some things we could challenge here?
Oh, my initial reaction is that's a tough case. One more fact that I saw was the allegation that it was one set of clothing, one outfit in the wash machine and running at the time. There's just an uphill battle from what I see, at least from what's in the court records.
Okay, so Michelle Boat is going to be represented. She's going to defend herself. Her attorney will defend her. Is there any sort of approach? She's charged with first-degree murder. Is there some defense strategy that would be, okay, maybe we're not going for a not guilty, but maybe there's some lesser charge that perhaps we could convince the jury might be more appropriate here? I'm not that familiar with Iowa law. Is it first degree or bust, or you think there's an opportunity for something lesser for the defense perhaps to try to convince the jury here?
Well, certainly the defense is going to look at lesser included charges, whether or not there was second degree, something that happened at the last minute. It was, an act of passion within a minute. There are no notices of defense that I saw within this file, so I'm not seeing anything that indicates self-defense or defense of others or diminished capacity. So it's going to be a real question. But I know the defense attorneys, Trevor Anderson's one of the defense attorneys, and he's an awfully smart attorney. So if there's something out there, he's going to find it. But there's nothing within the file that really tips the hand at what the defense is going for.
Yeah, you know, I look at a lot of the cases we cover here on Court TV, and initially we usually have a lot more information from prosecutors because they're the ones who are bringing the charges, and we get some of those facts. And then we get to trial, and all of a sudden, the defense starts raising some issues that we all didn't think about. So I guess we can anticipate that. What's it like if you have a client who's been charged with first-degree murder? What are those meetings like when you've got to sit them down and talk to them and explain what this trial is going to be like, what to be prepared for? How difficult is it? Because someone like Michelle Boat, my guess is she probably doesn't have much of a record, probably hasn't been a criminal defendant before. What's that conversation like?
That's a long conversation. It's talking about what all the options are, what the if there even is a potential plea, what a plea could look like, um, what you're trying to do in order to preserve any record, if there is an appeal. In a case like this, where evidence originally looks very stacked against her, although, as we said, I have no idea what the defense knows in this case. We also talk about public opinion and what could affect public opinion.
And one more question. We only have a couple seconds here. Do you think she has to testify here to explain things?
Well, one of the things I've talked with every client I've ever defended about is I never make that decision up front. You really need to see what the evidence is, see what happens, and see how things play out. I prepare every client to testify, and a little less than half end up actually testifying.
Christine Branstad in Des Moines tonight. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.